Alright guys, I'm going over post study guide pages 5 and 6. I'm going to start with 23. So, I think this is a little bit more efficient way to do it. If you want a Google Meet, that's fine. It just works a little bit better if we're interacting. So if there's people who want to ask questions while I'm doing it, Google Meet's a little better. If nobody's going to ask any questions or anything like that, or this is a little more efficient. So, I'm going to read the problem. If K and L, so K and L, so that's K and L, that's that guy right there. And L and M, so that's L and M right there is that guy. So L and M. So these two angles together, the blue and the red. Find the value that K and M, so that K and M would be those two together, so that K and M is a right angle. So that's really important that I understand this part right here, because I want K and M to be a right angle. So when that's not what I wanted. So I want K and M to be a right angle. So that means it's going to be equal to 90 degrees. So basically, guys, I'm going to have this guy right here plus this guy together to be 90 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 5x plus 3. Then I'm going to put 2x plus 24. And I want it equal to 90 degrees. Now it's just simple. So it's PEMDAS backwards. I'm going to put my x's together. 5x and 2x is 7x. 3 and 24 is 27. Now I'm going to is equal to 90. Remember, I'm going to use PEMDAS backwards here. I'm going to minus 27 from both sides. So I get 7x equals 63. Divide both sides by 7. That's how you get rid of the multiplication. I get x equals 9. Now, I want to measure each degree, each angle, so I have to plug 9 in here and here. So I plug 9 in. 5 times 9 is 45 plus 3. So I'm going to get that to be the measure of angle. Look how I use that little m. That's important when you're giving me a number answer. K and L equals 48 degrees. Now before I even start, I know that the blue angle should be 42 degrees. If it's not, I made a mistake. Alright, that's kind of me self-checking. So I'm going to put 9 in right here. 2 times 9 is 18. 18 plus 24 is 42 degrees. So I didn't do it right. So the measure of L and M, remember N has to be in the middle. Alright, if I was being picky, alright, you have to have the M because you're giving me a number answer. You got to have N in the middle because it's the vertex. You have to have your degree symbol. M because you're giving me a number answer. N in the middle because it's the vertex. Have to have the degree symbol. Okay. Name each polygon, if it is one, by number of sides. Remember we talked about this before? Alright. So somebody's going to write trapezoid here. That is a trapezoid, but that's too specific. Remember, we're being very vague here on purpose. Like, think about it as generic versus brand name. I just want the generic name, right? I don't want Band-Aid. I want adhesive bandage, right? I want something that's going to cover it all. So this is a polygon, yes. So it is a polygon. Because it's enclosed space. There's no gaps. There's no rounded edges. It's all segments. All right. It's 4 sides. So a trapezoid is a good name, but it's really going to be called a quadrilateral. All right. Now, is it convex or concave? It is convex. Now, the math reason is because if I were to extend all the sides, none of the extensions would go inside. Basically, what I say is it doesn't have any dents, right? It's filled. So there's nothing caving in. And it is not regular. It is irregular. Remember, irregular. Regular must have. So to be regular, you must have the exact same number of equiangular, and equilateral. So all the same sides, all the same angles. Be not a polygon because of the rounded edges. See that rounded edge right there? Not a polygon. Now, see, we're going to use a little bit of thinking. Technically, I probably, if I was going to answer this correctly, I should write that. All right, that's going to tell me that that's going to help me with the regular versus irregular part. But either way, even if I didn't have that on there, I still should be able to count the sides. So I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there is 10 sides, which means it is a decagon. There is no rounded edges, there's no gaps, there's no spaces, so it is a polygon. We're going to call it a decagon because it's got 10 sides. All right. It is convex. Remember, the only way you can ever be all regular polygons are convex. And think about it. That's filled. There's no dents anywhere. There's nothing caving in. And if I extended all the sides, nothing would go in the center. It is regular because all the sides are congruent. And actually, that's going to mean all the angles are congruent. There's actually a theorem that says if all the angles are congruent, all the sides are congruent, all the angles are congruent. But we didn't really talk about that. But I could have written that those angles are congruent on there as well. So it is regular. So, yeah, decagon, convex, regular. All right, D. I got 1, 2, 3. So I'm just counting the sides first. The reason I know it's a polygon, and the reason I'm counting the sides, is because there are no rounded edges, there's no spaces, there's no gaps, there's nothing crossing or anything like that. So it is a polygon. Now, it's got 12 sides, which means it's a dodecagon. Alright, that's the name of that. It is concave. Now remember, like that to me looks like a dent. Like it looks like it was a rectangle where somebody punched in that side or hit that side in. That's what makes it concave. The math reason why it's concave is if I were to extend this line, it would go inside the shape. Same thing here. If I were to extend this line, it would go inside the shape. That's the math reason why. Now, as soon as you write concave, without any thinking, you automatically have to write irregular. There's no way you can have anything but that. Even if somehow magically all the angles were congruent and the sides congruent, which is impossible if it's concave. But even if that were happening, it wouldn't matter because it's concave. So irregular. That's it for 23 and 24. Alright, 25 and 26, pretty easy. They're finding the perimeter area of triangles and rectangles and squares. So for 25, remember you have to know Pythagorean's theorem to find. So we have to find C first. So remember, I know that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 6 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. So 36 plus 64 equals c squared. So 100 equals c squared, which means the square root of both sides, c is 10. Alright, I need to know that. So now that I know that c is 10, I could find the perimeter. And my perimeter, so I'll try to do perimeter in purple. So my perimeter of 25A is going to be 6 plus 8 plus 10. So P is going to be equal to 24 centimeters. Alright. Area, pretty easy. We'll do area in green. So remember, area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height, or base times height over 2, whichever however you write it. So area is equal to 1/2 6 times 8, so half of 48 is 24. Now remember, this is different because it's area. Area is covering the space. So when you do area, you have to make sure that you have the right label. So this is 24, but it's not centimeters, it's square centimeters. So although they look like the same number answer, they are two different answers. One is a distance. So the purple line is the purple perimeter. That's this distance. So the purple is giving me the distance. So that's what the purple is doing, is the outside. Right? The area is the green on the inside. They're completely different types of things. They're measuring different things. They're not the same, even though they're the same number. All right, 25B. I'm actually going to come back and do its own slide on 25B. 25B is a little bit more complicated than I anticipated, than I expected. I didn't remember making it that hard. So 25B is going to have the entire slide just for that. So I'm going to do 26A and B because that's going to be super fast. So perimeter, remember it's a square. So the perimeter is going to be, you could do two ways. You could do 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9, or you could do 4 times 9. Perimeter is going to be 36 feet. Area. Area is equal to 9 squared, or it's going to be 9 times 9. Either way, it's going to get 81. And make sure you have the right label of square feet, not just feet. All right, that's where you'd be wrong. They'd be the wrong label. All right, so B, perimeter, that's the outside. You could do 2 times 7 plus 2 times 11, so 2 times the length times 2 times the width. Or you can do 7 plus 7 plus 11 plus 11. Either way, you're going to get 14 plus 22. So your perimeter is going to be equal to 46. And it's meters. All right. Area is equal to length times width. 11 times 7. So area is going to be equal to 7 times 11, which is area is going to be equal to 77. Remember, it's square meters. All right. And that's it for 26. All right. So there's no way that length could have been 15. So I think this is supposed to be 8 inches right here. So we're going to make that at 8 inches, and then I'm going to kind of go through how to do this. So 27B or 26B, that make that 8 inches. We don't know. Remember, we don't know what's right here. So that's the hard part, is we don't know this. If we knew that, our life would be much easier. So we're going to call that X. All right. So I'm going to start with a bigger triangle. Remember, there's actually like 3 triangles here. So I'm going to start with this bigger triangle right here. I'm going to start with that side. So that's going to be my A squared, B squared, and C squared. So remember, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So my A in this case is actually 8 and X together, so I'm going to call it X plus 8. All right. My B, so that's going to be this green line right here. That's our height. That's going to be 24. And my C is going to be the, because remember, you could do Pythagoreans with the right triangle. Now, and that's going to be 26. So remember, they're squared. That's where it gets a little bit difficult. All right. So I have to rewrite this. I have to do X squared plus 8. So the mistake I'm going to see a lot of people try to do is someone's going to try to do this. All right. That is not allowed. All right. You can't do that because of the plus sign. So what you're going to have to do, and this which makes it really difficult, that's why people, we probably actually haven't seen a problem kind of like this. So what you have to do is you have to rewrite that X plus 8 twice. So I'm going to make that X plus 8, X plus 8. Now 24 squared, pretty easy. That's going to be 576. And 26, pretty easy. It can be 676. All right. To multiply 2 binomials, you have to use a thing called FOIL. So we talked about FOIL before. It's not like a new thing, but it is something we already have talked for a minute. So you do the first 2. So the first 2 is X squared. Then you're going to do the outside 2. That's 8X. And you do the inside 2. It's 8 times X, which is 8X. Then you do the last 2, which is 8 times 8, which is 64. Okay. So now I'm going to combine my like terms. So this whole piece right here, turns into X squared plus 16X plus 64. Now I have the 576 equals 676. Okay. Now I have x squared plus 16x. I put 64 and 576 together to get 640. So 576 plus 64 is going to give me 640. Now, to solve something that with a little 2 in it is something we'll do a lot next year. So it's got to equal to 0, so I'm going to minus 676 from both sides. So I get x squared plus 16x minus 36 equals 0. Right. Then we do this, there's actually this thing called factoring where you break it down. So this is all like kind of extra stuff that we'll cover a lot next year. So I'm going to make this x minus 2, x plus 18. If you don't understand that, that's no big deal either, because this is a different concept. If I were to go and redo this whole problem, I probably will actually. I will give you that little space. So x minus 2, x plus 18 equals 0. So then I get x equals positive 2. So like math-wise, what we're doing here is I have to set each parentheses equal to 0. So I said x minus 2 equals 0, x plus 18 equals 0. So then x is either positive 2 or x is negative 18. X is negative 18 is not possible. So this guy has to be 2. Now I'm going to find this red piece using the same idea, but this time I know that I'm going to have, this is my A, this is my B, and the red piece is my C. So I'm going to have 2 squared plus 24 squared equals C squared. So I get 4 plus 576 equals C squared. So I get 580 equals C squared, square root both sides. C is going to be equal to 24.08. So I did all that work to find out that this piece is 24.08. So I did all that work. All this work is just so I could find the perimeter, which is only 8/100ths more, which is why I'd probably redo this problem if I were to do it all over again. So, perimeter of my original shape is 8 plus 26 plus 24.08. So you got to have the 0.08 there. So you're going to have 48.08. Or 34.50. 8 and 26 is 34 plus 24 is 58.88. So you got to have actually the 0.08 in inches. Believe it or not, the area was, you could have found the area right from the beginning. It's 1/2 base, whoops, base is 8, remember I changed that, and the height is 24. So 4 times 24 is 96, so my area is going to be 1/2, I'm sorry, not 1/2, my area is going to be just 96 square inches. So this problem was kind of a trash problem that from the get-go, so sorry about that. Alright, so circumference, if you don't remember, is equal to 2 pi r, or pi times the diameter. So you can write pi times the diameter, or circumference is equal to 2 pi r. Alright, area is equal to pi r squared. So 27a, pretty easy. Remember, this is a diameter. It is not a radius because it's the whole. So my circumference, if you're going to use pi, is just pi times 9. All right. So I'm just going to do 9 pi into my calculator. 9 times pi. I'm going to use 28. It's going to be about. So my circumference. And I use the about symbol because I'm going to estimate, because remember pi is irrational, so it's 28.27. And it's inches. Area, easy. Now, pi times r squared. Remember, r is only half of this, so r equals 4.5. So my area is equal to 4.5 squared times pi. So I just do 4.5 squared, which is 20.25, and I multiply that by pi. And I end up with area is about, once again, I'm going to use my approximate symbol, because I am rounding, 63.62. remember you have to have the right label. It's going to be square inches. So there's your area, there's your circumference. Alright, B, very, very similar. Circumference is equal to 2 pi r. Remember, that is a radius. So it's going to be C is equal to 2 times pi. Instead of r, I put 6. So it's going to be 12 pi. Some places might want you to write it in terms of pi. I think for you guys it make more sense to put 12 times pi in your calculator. I end up with about 37.7. So remember, I'm going to use my approximate symbol, 37.7. And it is feet. Now, area is going to be pi r squared. Remember, r is 6. So pi times 6 squared. So you could write your answer as 36 pi if it asked for your answer in terms of pi. 36 times pi is 113.1. So area, remember, so once again, I'm using my approximate symbol, 113.1 square feet. And that's it for 27. Alright, so I included the little piece from the whiteboard for the sphere, for surface area and volume. So surface area is pretty easy. It's 4 pi r squared. There's my radius. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put surface area is 4 times pi. Instead of r, I'm going to put 7. We're at 7 squared. So this is actually 49 times 4. So that's going to be 196 pi if they wanted you to have it in terms of pi. Sometimes people want it in pi because that's exact. There's no that I can use the equal sign. But for us, that doesn't really make. We don't really like that. So we're going to put times pi. 196 times pi is going to be about 615.75. So my surface area is going to be 615.75. So remember, I'm going to use the about symbol, the approximate symbol. And remember, it is square meters. Remember, surface area is kind of like wrapping paper. It's how much it covers on the outside, right? So that's how much, like, if you were going to wrap it, how much paper would you need to cover the area on the outside? Volume is the stuff on the inside. So volume is how much space it fills up. So that's how much it fills. And that's three-dimensional. So volume is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. And make sure that's a 3. I think I had a typo in one of my original posts. I think I wrote a 2 by mistake, but it is 4/3 pi r cubed. So volume is equal to 4/3 pi. Instead of r, I put 7 cubed. So I'm going to do 7 cubed times 4/3. 7 to the third, which is 343, times 4 ABC3, which is, it's a messy fraction. So you could write 457 and a third. I'm just going to leave it as it is and multiply it by pi. So I just put all in my calculator. I get volume is equal to 1,436.76. And remember, that's going to have to be an approximate because we did round. Okay, so 1,436.76. Remember, your label is going to be cubic meters. It's got to be cubic. All right, pay attention to your labels. A lot of people mess that up there. All right. 29, a rectangular prism. So I included the little bit of information to give me the surface area and volume formulas. So surface area of a prism is the perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. Remember, big B means the area of the base. So the P is the outside edge. So P is the outside edge. So this is P. P is this outside edge. Alright, that's that yellow. So it's 3 plus 3 plus 5 plus 5. So the P is going to be 16. So this P is going to be 16. Alright, I'm going to rewrite that. So P is going to be 16. This is the height because I'm calling that bottom, the bottom is the base. So the height has to be 12. Now I have to do 2 times the area of the base. The area of this base is 15. So my surface area is 16 times 12 plus 2 times 15. So 16 times 12 plus 30 is going to be 222. So 222, remember, it is square feet. All right. Volume, pretty easy. Volume is going to be the area of the base times the height. Some of you guys probably used to length times height. So length times height times width, that's fine. You can do that with any rectangular prism. So there's nothing wrong with that. This will be the same thing. So volume is equal to the area of the base, which is 3 times 5, which is 15, times the height. So my volume will be 15 times 12. It's 180. Remember, this is cubic feet. It's got to have a little 3 there. All right, so last couple pages, last couple problems from the post-test study guide. Keyword's going to be Paw Patrol. Keyword is Paw Patrol. So, number 30 is not a pyramid. Most people make a mistake and think it's a pyramid. It is not a pyramid. Okay? Now, the important part to understand is that this is going to be the base. The base is definitely not, the base is not the bottom. All right? So the base is not the bottom, because with prism the base is connected by rectangles, so all the rectangles of this one are not the base. This is the base, so the triangle is the base. Alright, so the triangle is the base. Alright, so I'm going to do surface area first. Surface area is equal to the perimeter of the base. So the perimeter of the base is 16 plus 12. Remember, this is 20. So it's 22 plus it's 28 plus 20, which is 48, times the height. This is the height, all right, because it's not included. This is part of the base. This is part of the base. This is part of the base. So all those are part of the base. So there's the 10 is the only thing not part of the base, so that's the height. All right, plus 2 times the area of the base. All right, now remember, that's a big B, that's why it's the area of the base. So my perimeter is 16 plus 12, which is 28, plus 20, which is 48. The height we just talked about is 10. And plus 2 times the area of the base, so it's 1/2 16 times 12 is the area of the base. So 8 times 12 is 96. So it's 2 times 96. So I have 48 times 10 plus 2 times 96. So I end up with 872. So my surface area is equal to 872. And this time, remember, it's square centimeters. Alright, square centimeters, because remember, it's wrapping paper. So volume, pretty easy. Volume is the area of the base times the height. We already know the height is 10, so that goes in there. We actually know the area of the base, that's 96. So volume is going to be 96 times 10. So it's going to be 960. And this time, it is cubic centimeters. Right? And that's it. Alright, so I added the hint page for cylinder. This is a cylinder. So my surface area, is equal to 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared. This is the diameter, so the r is actually half of that. So 11 meters is my radius. This is my height, so that's all I need to know to plug it in. Surface area is equal to 2 pi r is 11. Height is 20. Plus 2 pi, remember r is 11. Alright, so I have 440 pi And you can do this all at once. You can put this in your calculator all at once if you want. I did 2 times 11, which is 22, and then I did 22 times 20 in my head to give me 440. All right, now 11 squared is 121. 121 times 2 is 242, but I'm just double checking it now with the calculator. So that's the second part. So I end up with 242 pi. So if they told you to give your answer in terms of pi, which I am not making you do, but if they did, it would be 682 pi. So your surface area, if it was a number, would be 2,142.57. Remember, I used the approximate symbol. And it's going to be square meters. Remember, it's square meters. All right, volume. So the last one we're going to do is volume. All right, to finish up, volume is equal to pi r squared times the height. Volume is equal to pi. Remember, r is 11 squared, and the height is 20. So that's going to give me volume is going to be 2,420 pi. So if they wanted in terms of pi, that would be your answer. But more than likely, you're going to take all that, put it in a calculator. So I'm going to have 7,602.65. So remember, it's approximately 7,602.65. Remember, this is going to be cubic meters. So there's my volume. There's my surface area.